Hey everybody, Jake from Made for the Range here, back at the Encinitas Ranch GOLFTEC location here in California. If you watched the video on the GOLFTEC channel, you saw us with Braiden go through a little micro fit using the GOLFTEC Tech Fit system, and we ended up in a really good combo that just happens to be what I was kind of already playing. Today, we're actually going to do the first episode in what is going to be my personal journey, which is something that we're going to keep tabs on as we go along with the YouTube channel. I'm going to stop into different locations and see different coaches, work with a couple of different people, and bring you guys through the entire experience of what you get when you do a GOLFTEC package or a GOLFTEC plan as a student. So, Braiden, thank you for joining me again, man. I'm very excited about this because I've quite literally never had somebody do anything remotely along these lines. I've always just relied on Phil Mickelson from 2000 in his tips, basically. That was kind of it. So this is exciting.
Well, it took you really far, but GOLFTEC will take you that extra.
Yeah, we're doing okay, but there's a little bit missing for sure.
Yeah, sounds like you're around a 3. Yep. You want to get to a 0?
Yeah.
Time to split some hairs then.
Yeah, the goal is 2024, shoot par.
All right.
At least once.
Cool.
If not, multiple times.
So ideally, we've talked a couple days beforehand.
Yeah.
Kind of developed some goals together. We're seeing an overdraw miss.
Yep.
Outside, and from our previous fitting with the driver fitting, we saw a left miss be kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go through at first. We're going to go through a deep analysis of your swing from a couple different camera angles, primarily these two.
Sure.
Compare it to tour pros, talk about what you do really good, what we got to do to improve our swing.
Okay.
Really, after that analysis, that's where our little bit of instruction comes inside of this swing evaluation. You're probably looking 10, 15 minutes of instruction, ideally in a swing evaluation.
Cool.
What we would do, start making a concrete change to build you towards getting to that 0.
Awesome.
Really, after that, we'll sit back down saying, hey, Jake, we're at a 3. We want to be a 0. Here's kind of the roadmap we would take together in a hypothetical world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome, man. Let's get into it.
Sweet. So, ideally, got you and Colin here.
I love that comparison. All right.
So, he's the first one that comes to mind for myself, for you.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I want to show you what the raw version of these cameras are. So this is OptiMotion.
Oh, very cool.
So you may have seen back pre-2020 some GOLFTEC videos of some guys wearing a bunch of wires and harnesses, like your
and the mocap suits and stuff like that.
Yeah, your Gears Golf people will wear it too. So we've taken our same technology from there and made it completely wireless.
That is crazy.
It's 15 key joints in your body, measuring your turns, tilts, bends, and sways of your hips and shoulders. So as you move, these numbers will move with you.
I could play with that all day. All right. That's
so this
very cool.
is kind of from what the camera is looking at you at all times type of thing. So let's jump into just talk about some misses we are seeing.
Sure.
So seeing a left miss, I mean, a lot of this is going to be pushed towards let's not miss it left so many times, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's turn a sometimes 25-yard draw into a 5-10-yard draw. Maybe.
Yeah, that's if at worst left side of green.
Yes, absolutely. That's the goal.
Yeah. So from the address area, obviously you being a better player in a really good position overall. Okay. One thing I would say that it's the day to be a little nitpicky, which we're going to be.
Please,
so we look at Colin's left forearm. See how it's kind of on top of his right here? Okay. So at address, we notice your left forearm being kind of underneath the right one. So OptiMotion, it's color-coded. You've got pretty much 4 colors that kind of correspond to this, kind of similar to the fitting, right? Cool. So we've got green. That's good. Within our tour averages, we're not too worried about that. Okay. Yellow meaning more of a fade bias ball flight. Okay. Blue meaning more of your hook ball flights. All right. And if there is any, I doubt there is, you're a better player. Aha. Red meaning more of that slice tendency, stuff we really have to work on in that position. You know what I mean? So from the address position, overall, you're in a really good spot to hit a draw. Okay. One thing I would say, shoulder turns at address are a hair open. Tour average is about 8 degrees open. Okay. So day to be a little nitpicky, like I said previously, we see Colin's left forearm a little more on top of his right.
So that would be, shoulder open, so closing it would be going this way.
Correct. So almost like your left shoulder pointing right of your target. A little more closed at address. That will help you overall. I mean, it's going to set you up to start that ball a little more rightwards at target, not miss so far left.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That's the biggest thing. Overall, you're in a really good position.
Sweet.
So got you and got some guy that's pretty decent at golf, Rory.
He's okay, yeah.
So ideally from this position, in an actual swing evaluation, I will look at hand path. So we look at club and hand path. Notice Rory's club head here. See, it's kind of a little more in towards his hands.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yours is a bad position per se. Ideally, we did talk about a previous injury you've had where your lead wrist does not bend in certain positions like it used to anymore.
Yes.
So that's where you being a better player, we have, well, anybody that's hurt or has limitations at GOLFTEC, we provide that dialogue like, hey, ideally, it would have to be here, but where's a common middle ground we can get to?
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
yeah. There's a small amount of compensation that has to happen for that.
Yeah, I
regardless of
mean,
what
there's
else we
some
want.
things in people's golf swings they just do.
Absolutely.
It's just their body type, you know what I mean? From here, though, club face, ideally I look into here, so we go leading edge, just the angle of the leading edge in comparison to your Rory's spine. See how those two are parallel?
Yeah.
It's just telling me the club face is square there.
Got it.
So we take a look at yours. We'll use red here, kind of brighten this up a little bit. So we've got angle of the golf club in comparison to your spine. You could say club face is a little shut there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Very
a
much
hair.
so. Very much
I mean,
so, yeah.
it depends. Obviously, you see a lot of players, a lot of the better players in the world, like your Colin Morikawa-esque players, who do this similar move that you have. That's where I initially went to him. Like, we see golf clubs kind of outside of his hands.
Yep.
Club face is a little shut. However, Colin hits a cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very different, yeah.
Yeah. So turns-wise and all that good stuff, how your body's moving, ideally it's really, really good. I mean, we bring up all this green numbers, man. This is what we love here at GOLFTEC. We love seeing green numbers.
That's a lot of green numbers.
A lot of green numbers. Shows me you kind of know how to play golf pretty well.
Figured it out, yeah. Figured it out a little bit.
One thing I would say is, and it's natural for guys that tend to hit overdraws, you turn a lot in this position.
Okay.
Meaning that blue number is primarily setting you up for more of a draw ball flight.
Okay.
You're at 55 degrees closed. Tour average tends to be about 42.
Okay.
So you don't have to work so hard.
Okay.
You look at these guys on tour.
That's good to hear, yeah.
You look at these guys on tour and everybody that walks in here is like, man, they just swing so smooth. It's like effortless. I'm like, well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
They're just really efficient. Okay. You know what I mean? So here's where we, like previously I said, we'll have that conversation of what you can and can't do with your left wrist, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to go to the top of the backswing with Rory. Ideally, in an ideal situation, Rory's hands are going to end up 3 to 6 inches behind the right shoulder.
Okay.
We, due to some wrist injuries, tend to get very high, hands kind of above our head.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of just kind of lifting
absolutely
of the golf club versus rotating of the golf club. You still rotate a ton. You hit the crap out of the golf ball. That's you. We may have a conversation of, I know you're not going to be the prototypical 3 to 6 inches behind the shoulder. That's just something this can't get back there to do, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But can we find somewhere where we're more here?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Turns-wise, you turn a ton with the shoulders. You actually turn it 106 degrees.
Wow.
So a lot of people come in here saying, well, I don't turn enough. Pretty much almost everybody turns enough in the golf world. Tour average is 88, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's funny because I probably would have told you that I don't feel like I turn enough. Like I feel like I'm very linear, not rotational.
Yeah, I mean, you do turn enough. It's more, I believe it's more that left wrist just kind of saying, hey, if we go back here, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, so it's compensating by moving all of this instead of just this going.
Yeah, absolutely. Hip-wise, you're perfect. I mean, tour average 44, you're at 45.
Cool.
You are a prototypical from this position at the top of the backswing. If I didn't know anything about your golf game, I would say you're prototypically going to hit a draw.
Okay.
Which, meaning, we'll talk about the downswing next.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up Kisner here. Just a really clear video to talk about path and the downswing.
Sure.
So, I'm going to draw some path lines. Ideally, what these are going to do are going to just show us how the club head is traveling in the downswing. So we talk about a left miss or an overdraw miss. Here's really why. So we got you and Kisner here. Ideally, we're going to watch golf club kind of more move into out. We're going to see the rightward tilting of the right shoulder into impact. We see this golf club here kind of get along the right forearm there. Tour average, I would say club path is, you're looking anywhere 1 to 4 degrees into out, anywhere in there. Ideally, if we take a look, we're going to notice, here's our miss. Half comes out to in. I'd say you're 1 to 2 out to in right now.
Okay.
That's going to, with a closed club face, that ball's starting left and going further left.
Going left, yeah.
So that's going to be our big thing. I mean, you move your body really well.
Okay.
Ideally, after this analysis, I would love to play around with getting these hands a little, as much as we can without hurting ourselves. We want to keep playing golf, not try to make a change to hurt us more.
Sure.
Getting our hands a little more behind the right shoulder.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, talked about side view. Now we're going to go front view. Ideally, from this area, we're going to talk about how the body moves. Are we swaying off the golf ball? Are we moving too far towards the target? All that good stuff. But just like every golf swing starts with the address, we're going to look at the address through the front view. Ideally, where we talk about here is we talk about grip, stance width, ball position, all that good stuff. Grip-wise, you're really good. I don't really have to talk much about grip to a 3 handicap. You know how to control the club face almost too well at times. You tend to turn the club face over a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Stance width-wise, also really good. You create a lot of turn. In a position where, hey, we feel like we want to create some more hip turn, a way we can do that. See his left foot? See how it's flared a little open?
Okay.
See, ours is kind of very square. So when we have a very square stance, what this does, it puts restriction in this lead knee. Doesn't allow you to turn as far.
Okay.
If you flare this left foot a little open, you're going to lose that restriction in your left knee. It's going to allow you to turn a lot more.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So from here, ideally, we're going to go to the top of the backswing. So as we go up to the top, we're going to see, notice here with Charlie Hoffman, he is very stable over the golf ball. We're not seeing a lot of movement at all. We're just seeing turn. Ideally, like we talked about, from the top of the backswing, your turn is about 88 with the shoulders, 44 with the hips.
Okay.
Sway-wise, so in GOLFTEC terms, swaying is the lateral movement of the golf swing.
This way, okay.
Here versus rotational.
Sure.
So as we go up to the top, let's take a look.
So you're watching that line that's on my back hip right now?
I'm watching the line on your back hip. I'm watching you just overall turn. Really good overall. Tour average hip sway is 0.3 inches towards the target. That's pretty good.
Hey, all right.
Tour average shoulder sway is 0.2 inches towards the target. Here's something where we get into, maybe this is somewhere where we can help you play a little better golf.
Okay.
So you're at 1.7 inches.
Got it.
In a Tour Pros golf swing, you will never see their upper half of their body get ahead of their pelvis area. So meaning,
This way. Okay, yeah.
so more here, right?
Yeah,
so you're feeling your upper half get ahead. What this does, steepens your angle of attack. You tend to notice you warming up. You tend to hit a little behind it from time to time if we're going to
Yeah, that's the miss, yeah.
So this could be a key aspect.
Okay.
So that's talking about how to turn a little differently, getting like our upper half to turn a little more over our right side.
Sure.
Allowing our hips to stay ahead type of thing.
Okay.
That could also lead to a reason why you are doing this.
Yeah, coming way up, yeah.
And that's just the result of your hands raising in the backswing.
Okay.
Your upper half's going to get ahead no matter what there.
Sure.
All right, into impact here. We're going to go, this is where he establishes low point. So low point being where the club contacts the ground. Ideally, you want it that 3 to 6 inches ahead of the golf ball, what you see on CBS on Sundays and over and over and over again.
Yeah, those big, beautiful divots, yeah.
So as we come down into impact, your tour average hip sway here is going to be about 3.1 inches towards the target.
Okay.
Your shoulder sways will be about 1.3.
Got it.
So as we come down into impact here, this is where we see why you hit it left. You've probably been told from previous instructors that you move a lot towards the target or not at all.
Yeah.
But shoulder sways are 3.8 inches. Hip sways are 6.8 inches.
Oh, okay.
So ideally where we can benefit this is we can get into that Colin Morikawa-esque feel.
Sure.
Turning a little better.
Okay.
Getting a little more open faster.
With hips.
With the hips,
okay,
correct.
Got it.
Tour average at impact, you're looking at 43 degrees open. We're at 20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, we look at a guy like Colin. Is he 43 degrees? He's more the exaggeration,
Sure.
not really the perfect example.
Okay.
Your tour average guys that come to my mind, the prettier golf swings of the world, your Cam Smith, Adam Scott.
Got it.
All those guys they look fundamentally sound type of thing. So from here we go post-impact into the follow-through. Really impact positions, you're tilting really well. You're right at 30 degrees of tilt, so that's this movement where the right shoulder works a little more down to the golf ball. It's measuring this angle of our shoulders here. Shoulders are opened up really well. Ideally, post-impact into the follow-through, we're going to notice this is where he clears his weight, gets on his left side, hands work away from him. Your tour average hip sways here about 3.8 inches towards the target. Shoulders about 0.2 inches away from the target. That's where your shoulders start to bend a little more backwards, establishing, keeping that width in the follow-through.
Yep.
So as we come down post-impact follow-through area, what we see, shoulder bends overall, not too bad. About 1 degree forward. We could bend a little more backwards in the follow-through. Okay. That could be a distance aspect for us, but part of that too is path. I mean, when you think about it where you're at right now, path being a little out to in, we're going to finish like this right now, you know what I mean? For sure. Okay. Ideally, as we shift path a little more in to out, we're going to start to bend a little more backwards in the follow-through. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man.
Well, here and,
that's your golf swing in about a 10, 15-minute nutshell there.
All right. Beautiful. So without getting into a full lesson of it, because we're going to jump into that for the next part of the journey, what would your immediate, what is your step one for my golf swing at the moment
step
right now?
one, I mean, that's where that conversation of hands at position 4, we call it. Okay. Trying to get it as close to that 3 to 6 inches behind the right shoulder as possible. Okay. Ideally, that's where we have that conversation of what's ideal and what's reality. Sure. We want you to keep playing golf. We don't want to hurt you playing golf.
Sure, you know I mean? And I do think I do think some of that is a little anxiety ridden. I think there's a little bit more ability in there than I probably give it credit. It's just one of those things where I just really don't want to do that again.
No, I got you. Absolutely. I mean, wrist injuries suck. I had one playing golf in college. It was not fun.
It was not fun at all. Yeah.
Okay. Ideally, that's where my first step would be. Then from there, you shallow path out, get you a little more open, and then we jump into short game because that's also a big aspect of the golf.
Yeah, too. Absolutely. I think that's actually probably going to be the first lesson that I go into. I'm probably going to request to do some short game stuff just to really get that dialed in.
Absolutely. So that would be fun.
Awesome. Well, guys, stay tuned for the rest of the journey. Thank you for the eval.
Anytime.
That all makes a lot of sense. I saw a lot more green numbers than I thought I was going to see.
You're a lot better off than you think you are.
I got to admit, I was worried we were going to see a lot of bad numbers, but no, it absolutely makes sense because this is definitely a different position than it was 8 months ago, and I think that this is going to be a really cool way to show people the GOLFTEC journey and the GOLFTEC process.
Absolutely.
But also, just selfishly, to get to that even par round this year is going to be. I think it's going to be really fun.
That'll be fun, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I'll definitely see you in a little bit, probably. We'll get some stage in this. We'll come back to you and check in with you.
Let's help you play better golf, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. That is so much better. A little pulled.
Yeah, but not...
It's not off the map
30
left.
yards. Yeah, not just leaving the course to the right side.
It's a 15-yard pull. You're chipping off the left side of the green there.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to hit another one just real quick. So just so everybody knows, the video was supposed to be over. And I, being me, asked Braiden if I could just, real quick, just try to implement his feedback. Because it seemed very simple. It seemed annoyingly easy. And I hit a couple, and then we right away realized that we should probably turn these back on and show you guys what happened immediately.
Yeah, that'll do.
It's just, again, I love it, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing not to love there. But
4 yards offline, that'll do.
It was an easy change. And it's a very easy to feel change.
Yeah.
And we were saying when the camera's turned off too, I'm a very visual learner. Yeah. So all the stuff you put up there was really cool to see, but the way you described it was also, I didn't have to see it to know what you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was really, really cool. So Do we have video of that new swing?
Yeah,
okay, can we walk through that real quick? Because I'd love to see the difference.
Red X before, green check after. It's kind of usually what I would do inside of a lesson.
Okay.
Like,
all
hey,
right, beautiful.
Bad side, good side, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So as we take this club back, we worked on getting your hands a little more inward and behind your right shoulder, position 4, we call it. Ideally, we talked about in our video, like, hey, you have some left wrist issues from a previous injury. We're going to play with it and see how far back there we can get without hurting it more.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So as we go up to the top, before we saw a lot of lift of the shaft. So shaft working upwards, shaft working up top, not really behind your right shoulder at all, which caused a path issue from time to time.
Yep.
Like from here, that's your pull left.
That's getting shut closed,
Unless you hit the inside heel like you did here and got away with it.
Yeah.
But if that's center of the face, that thing is left and it's gone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So after, we worked on getting the shaft or the golf club a little more behind your right shoulder at position 4.
Okay.
So we see right in here, start to see just a hair change.
Oh, man.
Just a little bit. There we go. There's the top.
Yeah, you can see from even the level just from the top of my hat to my hands is...
You actually see your right ear there.
Yeah, that looks like a golfer. That looks like...
A long drive
athlete that picked up a golf club, basically, is what I like to tell people. Yeah.
So as we come down into impact, that's a little better.
Still could open those.
Still could turn more.
Those hips just a little bit. Okay.
But
now that looks so bad. Yeah.
And we haven't really even talked about path, and that would be like part 2 to this inside of a lesson. That's first lesson. Okay. After the swing evaluation, I'm hitting path and I'm hitting path hard. Yeah,
this was quite literally just you telling me. We have another guy helping us film and stuff in here, and he told me to just pass the club to him on the way back, which helped for a physical reference. But like, that's all we fixed was just this and this.
Yep.
And it was really just one thing that ended up being 2 fixes.
Another cool part about GOLFTEC is it's not just you're going to get me the day of talking to you how to do things.
Yeah.
There's a technology aspect to this too. So you will get sent inside of a swing evaluation probably 10 to 15 minutes of solid video instruction.
Very cool.
Me talking through each position, us having that dialogue of, hey, this is where we started, this is where we're at now. Every lesson will have notes on, hey, this is what we did that day. Here's some drills to practice. Here's a good position, like we call them tech cards, like, hey, this is really good, this is where we are.
Sweet. Stuff
like that to further, say if you're on the range and you're going, what did we do last Tuesday? You've got our app. Boom. It's right there for you.
That's very cool. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll open that up after we get sent it and I finish editing the video and stuff. I'll open that up and I'll actually show this and I'll walk through that little part 2 on the video to show everybody, because I think what I've learned so far about my recent time with the guys at GOLFTEC and coming here not with you is how much more involved it is as a relationship with GOLFTEC and the student. It is not like you have your coach and you can see your same coach every time you want, but like if you move and you go into stage 6 with a different person, you're going to be starting and going to the same spot as you were before, which is great. And then you have things like the app, which is, there's so much in that app, it's unreal. I mean, that's a whole video in itself is that app. But to be able to get that follow-up, like you said, like the videos, you're gonna that stuff, it's incredible. And again, for me, I've had a little like anxiety over doing lesson stuff because I didn't want somebody, like I'm a 3, right? So I didn't want somebody to be like, well, I got to get you to a 6 before I can get you down to a 0. Because there's those guys out there that are like, well, I got to break your swing apart to put it back together. Like, I didn't want that. I was like, I'll just stay at a 3 then. That's fine.
Obviously, like, there's conversations of that. Like, hey, I'm ready to just throw this swing away and start from
Yeah, there's definitely people that want that. Yeah, absolutely.
99% of those of people just say, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. Just make me better at what I'm already doing. And that's a great thing about GOLFTEC is you're not going to go anywhere where you can get frame by frame this quality of video to show you, hey, you're here, you're X, you need to be Y.
Yeah, very, very
That's
cool.
the biggest thing.
Well, awesome, man. Thank you again.
Absolutely.
I'm playing in a couple days, so I'm going to take this advice there and hopefully gain a couple strokes on some people. That's for sure.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks again, dude.
Absolutely.